importing companies are now subjected to tax following the passage of the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, or the CREATE Act. BIR's revenue regulation is ordering importers of petroleum products in economic zones to settle the value-added tax and excise tax before any transfer, transport, or withdrawal of petroleum imports. For his views, we're joined now by Lawyer Fulvio Dawilan, President of the Tax Management Association of the Philippines. Fulvio, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. What is your take on this latest move by the Bureau of Internal Revenue?
Well, Rico, that's nothing new. Actually, as you said, that's just an implementation of the CREATE law, which was passed in 2021, became effective in April of 2021. So it's just us repeating what the law says, or implementing what the law says. But that became effective actually in April of 2021. So these revenue regulations for this 2022 is actually nothing new.
How do you think, Fulvio, will this improve the tax collection of the government?
Well, it improves in a sense that the tax is collected upon importation. The tax is collected when the importer brings in goods into the Philippines, as opposed to the practice before, where the tax is paid only when the goods are taken out of the zone, ecozone, economic zone, or free port zone. So that may take time before the tax is paid. But now, with the CREATE and with its implementation, tax is paid already at the stage of importation.
Are there any exemptions here, Fulvio?
There's none. Taxes are paid upon importation, regardless of where the goods are sold. The exemptions come in after, or the exemptions come in after, depending on who are the customers, such as the international carriers, those who are exempt from taxes based on treaties or international agreements, those who are exempt under special laws. But generally, the taxes are imposed on goods that are ultimately brought out to the customs territory, or that's the Philippine customs territory. So for us individuals who are actually the usual buyers of these oil products, we don't enjoy any exemption.
What does this mean for the consumer?
Yeah, for the consumer, then that means we will bear the burden of all the taxes paid by these importers, because these are ultimately passed on to us as consumers.
Is the BIR tightening its tax collection after falling short in its first quarter target?
Yes, although right now there's an issuance that was, I think, made early this week or last week, wherein they are halting or stopping the issuance of letters of authority for examinations of taxpayers. So in essence, they are stopping the enforcement of assessments.
And how efficient right now is the tax collection? Or are there still a lot of loopholes, Fulvio?
Well, I think there are lots to be improved insofar as tax administration is concerned. Also in terms of compliance by taxpayers are concerned. I think the very important one is on the compliance, on the education of taxpayers, so that they will be able to comply with their tax obligations. There's a lot of things to be improved there.
And how much additional taxes do you think will the BIR take in from this VAT and excise tax on petroleum shipments?
I don't think there will be additional tax compared to the previous practice, because, as I said, this is just a mechanism of making the taxpayer pay tax earlier than the usual practice, than the practice before, which was the payment of tax only when you take out the goods out of the economic zones or free port zones. This is just an advance payment of tax.
And what do you think is the significance of this? by implementing this at this point?
Well, insofar, I think it's better in a sense that the tax is collected at the point of importation. There are lesser importations, of course, than when the importer sells to the different customers. So in that regard, it's the administration, the collection is better than the previous ones, because that's also actually collected by the Bureau of Customs before they release the goods, before the goods are actually transferred, transported, withdrawn from the customs territory. And in fact, it should be paid really upon importation.
And Fulvio, no, we will have a new administration in 30 days. What is on your wish list for the next BIR chief?
There are lots of things in my wish list as the president of Tax Management Association of the Philippines. We are reviewing their various issuances, and we are seeing things that we will be submitting to them, to the new commissioner when he comes in. There are lots, as I said earlier, there are lots of things to be improved insofar as the tax administration is concerned. And I think when the taxpayers see that there is better administration, I think the compliance is just a matter of just complying with it, rather than if the administration is or the compliance aspect, the administration aspect is not good, and it follows that taxpayers will not follow also the rules.
Thank you so much for your insights, Fulvio Dawilan, President of the Tax Management Association of the Philippines.